Welcome to the shit show.
No, that was my last fucking podcast.
The shit show?
No, it wasn't. No, the last project I did was Hit Shed Gaming with Mario. You know Mario.
I do know Mario.
And we got that name because it was me, him, and another person. And fucking like we took like 3 months to decide this fucking name. And like nobody was giving me anything good. I couldn't come up with anything. And then I was like, you guys are a bunch of shitheads. And then I reversed the letters and I was like, oh, Hit Shed, that sounds fucking decent.
Just a spoonerism of shithead. I love it.
It's not deleted. It's just private for now until we can get more consistent members on there.
I hear you. But I don't love the name as much as I love Milktown.
Hell yeah. Milktown. You came up with that name.
I don't remember if I did or not. If I did, then it came to me in a fever dream.
Because you came to me and you were like Milktown, and I was like, oh yeah, I do like milk points, but I never thought of like Milktown.
I just thought it was like a funny. Because isn't there a podcast like called Come Town?
That sounds awful. I have no idea.
And I always thought Come Town was a really funny name. But yeah, this is the inaugural episode of the Milktown Podcast, episode 1. Do E-boys dream of electric sheep?
Well, do they?
Yeah, they do. Short answer.
You're an E-boy.
TLDR, E-boys do dream of electric sheep.
Sounds good. Podcast over.
They're down bad.
All right, getting back on topic here. You tell us about you first. There's two of us here.
Tell everyone about me. Well, my name is SonnySaysStuff. I stream on Twitch with the same name. I have a YouTube channel with no content, also under the same name. I do a little bit of professional voice acting, a little bit of amateur disc golf, and a lot of bit of guessing where I am on Google Maps. What about you, Nate? Who are you?
I'm Nostalgia Nate. At least that's my name on YouTube, where it's spelled out Nostalgia Space Nate, as opposed to Twitch, where some other guy has Nostalgia Space Nate. So I have to become Nostalgia _N8 on Twitch. But I do both. Have a background in musical theater. Lots of fun. I have no semblance of where I am in any given location. So I don't know how you stream GeoGuessr, but I can't do that shit.
So you wouldn't call yourself an Orienteersman by any means.
Dude, I'm an Oreo.
Oh!
Because I'm black and white, but
all right.
But no, not at all. But yeah, so a lot of singing, a lot of acting, a lot of Crash Bandicoot clocked in. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Before we get started, there's actually a few things that I want to talk about first. The first thing is, Nate, have you heard about the scandal at the dairy factory?
No, what? No. What are you talking?
Yeah, they were skimming a bit off the top.
Was that a joke?
It was indeed a joke.
Was that a pun? Oh, God, you really? I was like, who is it? Is it Hollandia Dairy? Like, fuck.
Nope, just a milk pun for you.
That's not okay. Yeah.
All right. The next thing that I want to bring up is actually pretty cool, and I found this. I was searching for my merch channel to send to a buddy who wanted to buy some stuff. I typed in my Twitch handle, and I found some interesting stats. Not to toot my own horn, but let's see what this list is called. The fastest growing English GeoGuessr Twitch streamers, March of 2022. Your boy is number 43 on that list out of 200 and something.
That's like top 25%.
It's
right?
No, not bad, 50%,
man. Top 50%. No, wait, you said out of 200.
Out of 200,
so yeah, top 25%. That's really good.
Yeah, not bad at all. The next thing that I found, because I was interested what would happen if I typed in your Twitch handle.
Oh, shit.
You are... This is a really cool stat, actually. So you're number 30 on Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
Oh.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
that
that's
was
out
like,
of 356.
dude, it's pretty fucking good. Wait, what
Yeah.
site is this?
This is SullyGnome.com. According to
Huh,
SullyGnome.com, you had 77 watch hours across 12 hours streamed.
that's not bad considering that was like one of my flagship games, like when I first started streaming.
Oh yeah, and what's
Holy
really cool
crap, dude.
is like number 1 seems unreachable, right? Number 1
Mhm.
has 4,350 watch hours across 271 stream time.
Is that? Do you know the name by chance for that?
Yeah, Karma Crimson is the number 1 Thai
Yep,
streamer.
I know him.
You know
I
Karma?
I raided into him, and I know him from just playing Thai. He's a speedrunner. He's been nonstop. Every time I turn on my Twitch, that man's on. Um, but yeah, I was like, I couldn't remember the name. It was like on the tip of my tongue. I was like, it was something Crimson.
Yeah,
But
dude.
I know a lot of Crimsons through streaming, so there's that. So that's interesting. Speaking of streaming and such, what else do you stream besides GeoGuessr, or is it mainly GeoGuessr based?
Right now it is mainly GeoGuessr based until I can upgrade my setup a little bit. I do GeoGuessr. I do what I call wiki not so speed runs. It's more like a little wiki adventure.
Hmm.
Just trying to get from one random Wikipedia page to another random Wikipedia page just by clicking links within Wikipedia and not doing Control F or backspace. You've been present for a couple of those.
I've had you do some pretty mean ones. I can't name any off the top of my head, but I've
Yeah,
definitely there was at least
there's a
one.
couple. I have some written down.
Yeah.
I don't know where the list went, but some of them were not safe for work. I had to take the stream down. But yeah, I stream GeoGuessr wiki speed runs. I am trying to transition into a little bit of crafting. I started crocheting,
Nice.
and Disc Golf Valley will be one that I'll be transitioning into, and then also just weird games in general. I like finding the stuff that nobody will play, maybe
Mhm.
with like no audience whatsoever.
I was because you're still doing that Colonel Sanders dating sim, that KFC. You're gonna start that soon. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, I am planning on starting the Colonel Sanders dating sim. There's also a couple of channel gimmicks in the work. I've got the stuff here to do it. I just need to set it up a little better. But yeah,
Gotcha.
I've done right now the channel gimmick is kind of like some Bean Boozled stuff, which is
Mhm.
fine, but also like I have the spicy beans and they kind of destroy my stomach a little bit, and I would like to avoid ulcers if I
Oh,
can.
I got some
So,
stories about destroying the stomach. I just be very careful. I mean, you probably know more than me.
oh
I
yeah.
had a jalapeno redeem for a long time that was like tangentially related to a YouTube video I did. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna make it like 1,000 milk points. It should be pretty high up there for people to reach. Somebody spammed that. I ate like half a jar of jalapenos, dude. I almost didn't make it off of my Spyro stream. I almost crap myself right there. Like I had to end it early. I was like, "Oh, thanks so much. We're not gonna rate today." And then just be careful. Don't hurt yourself.
Dude, that's what happened with my spicy bean stream. I had
Mm,
to end it early. It was killing me. I kept obviously it's only hot beans, but I kept getting the hotter ones.
right.
And then the last one that I did, it said sriracha, and according to this little bean chart, the only difference between sriracha and Carolina Reaper
Mhm.
is black flakes. And I was
That's a
so
thin line.
delusioned. I was so delusioned I didn't notice that the one I grabbed had black flakes. So I actually ate two Carolina Reaper beans that
That's
stream
not,
within 15 minutes of each other. It was pretty
dude.
bad.
Yeah, that Bean Boozled stuff is becoming like more and more popular. Like we used to do it in high school, like for shits and giggles. I've never put it on my stream. I'm not against it. I don't know if the risk is worth the reward. Maybe it is.
Yeah, like I don't mind doing it. I think I just need to change the guidelines of what qualifies me having to eat a bean, or
Right.
like just kind of stick with the just nasty tasting beans in general because those are a little more bearable.
Yeah.
But my girlfriend, who also streams under the name the Knucklehead, she got me a gift that's for the channel gimmick. Basically, it's have you heard of like the really odd flavored sodas?
I don't know. Maybe you'd have to like point one out to me, but nothing
Yeah, so
comes to mind.
she got me a 12-pack of these odd flavored sodas. Some of the flavors included are like buffalo wing, dirt.
Dirt.
I think one is called unicorn yak, which is just supposed to be like overbearingly sweet and kind of gross. There's one that's grass flavored. But yeah, I'm trying to implement that gimmick in a way that makes sense, and it's a little
Grass-fed
tough to
milk
figure it out.
boys.
Yeah, exactly. Free range milkmen. And speaking of milkmen, I actually have a fun fact before we get into what you stream. You know,
yeah?
in Uganda, the title for king is Omukama, which means superior milkman.
Dude, I feel under researched for this. You have a lot of really good
I'm out here just trying to facilitate a little bit of knowledge. Primarily what I stream is knowledge-based games.
That's true. Yeah, you're boosting the IQ. I can't say I do the same with what I play.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool that they call their king the superior milkman.
That's awesome. The only king I really know of is like King Kamehameha, and he's like the fucking he united Hawaii. But all I could think of is Dragon Ball, obviously.
Yeah.
But like that's all I know is that he united the islands of Hawaii. And how I know that is I had this toy when I was a kid, and like it was battery powered, and you would press on the state, and it would give you a fun fact. Like it would give you like the capital and like a fun fact about it. And so it was a really cool toy, and then my little brother decided to bring it into the bathtub with him. There was no batteries in it, but he decided it'd be a better surfboard than than knowledge toy. So
I thought that was about to transition into like a real toaster bath story, and I'm glad it didn't.
That's awful. No, I only have setting toaster on fire stories. I don't have any toaster.
Oh, okay, good.
My toaster flaming count is 1, by the way. I've only set 1 on fire, so not terrible.
I think you just told me this story. What happened with it
again?
Yeah,
so my mom, this was me growing up. I think I was like 11 or 12. My mom was watching American Idol because she used to be really into those, all of those, like The Voice, American Idol, X Factor. And I was like making some toast, and those things, I think you call them heating elements. And I swear I knew it, but I couldn't think of the word for heating element. Anyway, they started glowing like, their normal glow, but they got brighter and brighter. It was like, this is like not normal glowing. This is like, I think Doc Ock has mastered like the fusion reactor type of glowing. So I go tell my mom, and she's like, because I guess like they're about to announce the winner or whatever. I'm like, okay, I don't want to bother you. But then it like really starts to go ablaze. Like that shit starts flaming, dude. And so I fucking go back to her, and I'm like, yo, like, hey. And she's like, and then I just loudly go, the toaster's on fire. And then she goes, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, I tried really hard. And we ended up putting it out. I don't even remember how we did that, but like my first toaster kill at the age of 11 is pretty young. Usually you wait till you like get your first house or like your first apartment or something to do that.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've ever lit any appliance on fire.
Good.
At least not via the appliance.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like I told you the story about me accidentally setting the kitchen on fire when I was a young lad.
Yeah.
Where I left some like parchment paper on a hot burner, not realizing that they stayed hot after you turned them off when I was 7. So yeah, I accidentally set the kitchen on fire once. But one thing I want to say before we even transition again, dude, Superior Milkman would be a great name for like a Street Fighter DLC, like a character.
Dude, we should just like start, because we have the Streams Come True server, which we both. Well, you're the owner. I'm just there to make the funnies, I think. But we have that for newer streamers if you're trying to grow. When we upload this, or when I upload this, I'll find the link to the Discord and put it in there. So that
it is a permalink now.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I had to do that to my server recently because I kept forgetting, and then it would be like expired. But if you're a small streamer looking for growth, like actual legitimate growth, how to better your streams and stuff like that, I will leave the link But yeah, man.
Yeah, that speaking of streams come true, that we finally implemented all the changes we wanted to implement that we voted on. Um, got everything set up, so the link is permanent now, and like Nate said, it is genuine growth. Like it's not follow for follow, not look for lurk, not view for view.
Yeah.
Just genuine people wanting to connect with other streamers, and if they wind up sharing audiences, it is what it is, just because people make friendships and whatnot. So it is, you get out of it what you put into it for sure, and I'm really proud of what it's become.
With a little Jackbox on the side, you know.
We
Play
did
a lot of Jackbox.
what we've done 2 community nights the last 2 nights. Actually, no, last night was in your server, wasn't it?
It was in my stream. It was a live event for all my for my super cool community. And
Yes.
I gave away a ton of stuff. Sonny over here walked away with half a ton of stuff. It was literally the RNG, and it was just really in your favor last night because what was it? Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy you got, and then a Jackbox party pack, right?
Yeah, and I also won the test giveaway where the prize was poop, and I'm still waiting on my poop.
Well, look, man, you know, got to drink a little more milk. But anyway, going into
speaking of your stream, what kind of stuff do you stream typically?
so I remember because I started on YouTube and it was okay. Like my first video was about Tony Hawk Underground and that got like 180 views, which when you're small, you're like, "Oh my god, over 100 views," you know.
Oh yeah.
So but like I've always done better because I grew up doing like musicals and like theater stuff. I've always done better like on the fly, just cracking jokes and stuff like that. Like it feels weird to record myself going, "Whoa," like butts when I could just be like doing that in real time to make people laugh. So my friend was like, "Dude, you crack me up all the time. You should make a Twitch." So I went and did Twitch. I started with Crash Bandicoot, and that caught on a little bit. Crash, Spyro, Jack and Daxter, like all the platformers you could think of, I did. I met a lot of my audience that way through just watching them play Crash Bandicoot, because you know you can search up Twitch streamers by game if you want to, you know what I mean. And with that, I found a bunch of people who are like, "Oh, I'm just doing this for a challenge, like I'm doing this for like a giveaway, or every time I die, like my husband farts in my face, or whatever the fuck." You know, people are weird, but like that's how I met a lot of people, and they're like, "You do this like normally, like full time, just as like." And I'm like, "Yeah, I grew up with that shit, man. I love it." Are we allowed to curse on this? Well, it's kind of too late for that, but I figured it'd be.
It's our podcast, dude. I'm not gonna sit here and dictate the rules. I'm not the superior milkman.
Well, this is a 2-player game, man. So
We
there's
are the
Milkman
superior.
and then utter failure.
We are the
Isn't
superior milkmen of this Milktown. So I say, if you wanna curse, dude, go ahead and dilute this. We'll call it unpasteurized.
Oh my god. He doesn't stop. But as for what I'm streaming right now, I got a lot. I don't know how I ended up this way. On Monday we're doing Mario Galaxy still.
Okay.
Tuesday we're doing Kingdom Hearts, which I just started, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, fire," you know, all that shit. Wednesday,
he's right.
Yeah. Wednesday, it was Wampa Wednesday, so we're doing all the Crash games. I'm out of Crash games right now. Or I'm just crashed out. I don't want to start Crash 4. It's about time yet. So I had everybody vote, and then we ended up in a 2-way tie. I bring it up again. You guys end up in a 3-way tie. So I said, screw it. I took the poll off. I'm going to roll a die. Make a video revealing whatever it chooses. So we don't know about Wednesday yet. Then Friday, we play Ocarina. That's what I got right now. I'm just running old school shit. Just got my new setup, so. And you and Knucklehead recommended I get an HDMI splitter, which is helping immensely for like just being able to not have to get up and unplug everything all the time.
For sure. It actually, what I found is it saves you a couple of OBS sources. You just use one HDMI source and then.
That's right. Oh, I didn't even go in there and like, oh, dude, I have some experimenting to do after this, apparently.
Yeah, it was sick whenever she brought it up to me initially, and I was like, oh yeah, whatever, we might use it. And then the second that I came down here and tried to set everything up, I was like, no, we're gonna need that.
Give me all that action. I'm excited for Colonel Sanders for you. That's for sure. I've been looking forward to it for a long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck the chicken magnate.
Oh, dude, of course. Show him what unpasteurized can really do.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna dredge that man's chicken for sure.
Oh, dude. Not safe for work podcast, this guy.
Dude,
But yeah, that's what I'm up to. I'm hoping to start doing more YouTube stuff. I mean, this is gonna go up. We're gonna do this once a week.
yeah.
When you first told me, I don't want to make it sound like you forced me because you didn't, but you had told me, "Yo, I have an idea for the podcast," and I'm like, "Oh no, what am I gonna do? I've never talked to Sonny literally every day of my fucking life since we met.
Well,
What are we gonna
that's how it
talk
came
about?"
about. We were sitting there, we were in all these voice chats and stuff, and every single one of our conversations, I'm like, man, this would be a really interesting podcast topic to talk about.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but this one is going to be a little on the slower side, just letting people get to know us and whatnot.
well,
But
of
I'm
course.
so excited for future episodes just to rattle off topics.
Yeah, and
Um,
then start bringing people in too. You said you had some prospective
yeah,
guests future down the line.
yeah. Actually, the first person I asked like immediately said yes, and that's actually someone that you introduced me to, Mister A Couple of Co-ops, who
Oh, I
is
fucking love
so
co-ops, dude.
wildly funny. That dude is
He
ridiculously
cracks me
funny.
up.
He was on
Yeah,
a
he cracks me.
stream talking about like kangaroo facts.
Yeah.
And he managed to find a website that sells handmade currency holders is what I'm going to call them. It's a wallet or a purse or some type
Hmm.
made from kangaroo genitalia.
Of course. Nothing like having a couple of kangaroo balls in your purse, you know what I'm saying? Don't just stop
Exactly.
at his balls. No. Keep going and get some kangaroo balls.
Well, I mean, that's the thing though, is a lot of people are like, oh, that's so inhumane. And like, yeah, it probably is to some degree a little
You guys eat hot
inhumane.
dogs. Shut the fuck up.
Just like what's the word I'm looking for? The
PETA?
like just the after death post mortem. That's the word I'm looking for. Just post mortem humiliation of kangaroo genitalia. Like it's a weird kink.
Dude, yeah, I guess kink is one way to picture that. I was more thinking, like, you know how, as human beings, if you go get your ID or your license, it's like, do you want to donate organs? So I know they're just gonna pick me clean when I go, hopefully.
I am an
Well, I don't
organ
know. With all
donor.
this energy drinks that I drink, I don't know how much of me is gonna be good.
Well,
But
dude, you'd be surprised. So my mom was an organ donor. She passed away when I was 10 years old. They
mhm.
used parts of her organs for other organs. Like I think like
What?
her optical nerve was
Yeah.
helped to repair someone's hearing and they could hear after like 12
What?
years.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
crazy. What?
So they did that. I think they used her heart in an intermediary heart transplant, like to keep
Ooh,
someone alive while the actual heart was on standby.
nice.
Um, yeah, like they used her skin to like help burn victims. Like there was a like it's a lot. You wouldn't think about it, but there's actually like even with the damage that we accumulate throughout the years to our
Yeah.
organs and not healthcare, like there's still a lot of excellent uses for the things that we're not going to use.
Yeah.
So,
Humans, when you think about it, we're kind of just a bunch of stuff, like really packed really tightly. Like
oh yeah,
there's a lot of stuff in us. Like I remember going to biology and being like, "Oh, fun fact! Like I've only failed 2 classes in my life. Once was sixth grade science. He failed me because I couldn't draw well. Like he would literally just have us go home, look at the textbook, and redraw. Like, and I'm not a fucking artist, man. So he fucking failed me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say your name, but fuck earth science and fuck you. All right, and then second of all, biology class, I failed that one, but the teacher loved me. It was great. I remember learning all this shit, and I'm like, there's a lot of stuff inside people. And then I remember sex ed came along because that was what was that 10th grade for me? 10th grade biology, sex ed came along, and she was like, yeah, so students get embarrassed. So like, if you want to just like write your stuff on an index card and put it in the little box, I'll read them out loud anonymously. So I had a stack like this. I can't really show it because we're on a podcast, but like a good inch thick of just fucking questions. When you're that age, you're like, I've seen a lot of shit on the internet. Man, people are saying
is
all this.
pee stored in the balls? Can you
Right.
confirm?
So I put it in there and I missed the day where she answered my questions. So I raised my hand. I was like, I was this, and this question. And everybody looked at me like, and I was like, I want to know. So she answered them for me because I was fucking curious. I failed that class, but No, I got a D in it. So I passed it barely, but I retook it because not education, applications and stuff. So
Was that a
yeah,
requirement for you growing up? Like where you grew up was sex ed?
it was like um, it was optional in the sense that your parents could sign you out of it. But mostly, yeah, sex ed was a requirement. Like it was like a full 6 weeks.
What? Dude,
Um,
it's so wild to me that like okay, so here's how I'm gonna phrase this. I my main qualm is that sex education is not taught correctly. And the reason that I hate that it's a requirement is because the American school system founded through politics, which is based on puritanical beliefs. So our sex
yeah,
system is so flawed. Our sex
yeah,
education system is
I
so
agree.
flawed.
I
So
weirdly, so like most kids when you're growing up or whatever, and I know some people lose their parents early or whatever, what have you. But most kids, their parents will tell them like some lie, like, "Oh, a stork brought you," or the whatever, you know. My mom, nah, I was 3. I was like, "Where'd babies come from?" And she goes, "Sex," and I go, "What sex?" At 3 or 4, and she's like, "Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, son. I'm gonna tell you young, you know, like this is it. Because if you don't teach your kids, man, they're not gonna know, and then they'll fuck around and find out, and then you got a baby." So I've known about sex for most of my life because my mom never lied to me and was like, "This is what it is." And as I got older, she got more in detail. Obviously, she just gave me a very basic rundown when I was a kid, and like as I became a teenager, she's like, "Yeah, condoms." I wasn't worried about sex. I had so much shit going on when I was a teenager; it wasn't even funny.
dude, so I grew up a very similar way where I knew about
Yeah.
sex from a super young age. So one of the things that I started working with when I went to like talk therapy, have you ever thought about how knowing about what sex is from a young age has affected your views on what sex is between you and another person?
Have I thought about it? Well, to answer that question, kind of, because I moved out here to Utah to get engaged to someone. And I'm calling out Utah right now. I don't know what the fuck you're teaching your students, but I should not have to crack open a textbook in a relationship. I should not. And I don't want to be like, oh, the Milktown Podcast hates Utah. I love it here. You guys' weather is great. Teach your kids how to fuck.
Dude, that's so
Ugh.
growing up, I had a super unhealthy relationship with sex. Like
Uh,
uh introduced to internet porn super young.
yeah.
And like as a result, like I feel like my views on sex got very skewed up until I was like 23, 24.
Ooh.
So yeah, like it took a lot of like decommissioning these thoughts on what sex are just from knowing what I knew at a young age or knowing what I thought I knew, I guess would be a better way
Right.
to say it. But yes. So one thing that I want to bring up talking about Utah, and I'm not and before I say this, I want to preface it by saying that I'm not hating on Mormons. One of my closest friends is a Mormon, but I do know that there is a very specific article of clothing that they wear during intercourse or leading up to intercourse. And I just looked it up. It is called the temple garment. And it basically looks like Calvin Klein nightwear. It's like
Are you
like
serious? Is this
yeah,
for? Is it for both sex? Is it for both sexes or?
it is. It is.
Oh, okay.
There's one for the what I'm for all intents and purposes.
I hate
I'm
that
gonna
phrase
say
too.
I know. I'm gonna
Hard to
say
say.
for AMAB and AFAB, they have these garments that are non-revealing. Like realistically, it's just arms and below the shins. Really leaves everything to the imagination. So
Oh, I've never looked into that. I knew nothing about Mormon culture coming here.
I'm gonna be honest with you,
Which
it
was
looks
dumb
like they're
because I should
really
have done my
comfortable.
research. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. My fiance, she's not a Mormon, you know. And that's a minority out here. Like there's churches like how California has 7-Elevens and Starbucks on every corner. There's a temple or church, whatever you want to call it, on every corner here. It's wild. Like I've never seen anything like it.
Well, I mean, like the biggest university in Utah is Brigham Young University. Brigham Young, being one of the.
Ooh, go Utes! Sorry,
But I mean,
being part of this family, I was taught or getting indoctrinated into my fiance's family. We're Utes around here. We don't fuck with BI.
yeah, they're Brigham Young's like one of the figureheads in Mormonism. I mean,
Gotcha.
obviously, I'd say probably like number two to Joseph Smith, like as an outsider looking in, knowing what I
Right.
know about Mormonism. But yeah, look at looking up these temple garments. They're pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I know. Getting back on sexuality, which was not on the docket, by the way, but I'm glad we're here. Um,
I gotta
yeah,
keep
man.
things
I don't know.
interesting, man.
Yeah, I just as a teenager, I always thought it was weird because, and I wasn't a teenager that long ago, so I say it like it was forever ago, but I'm only 22. So like it wasn't that long ago. I was just in high school, and it was like the revolution of like gender identities and like sexualities coming out. And I always thought, well, I'm a straight male, like, and for all intents and purposes on a piece of paper, yeah, I'm a straight male. But I also realized I didn't have the same drive. Like I'd be in the locker room changing, they'd be like, "Oh, did you see that fine whatever girl?" Fucking locker room talk, quote unquote. I was never really part of that. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it because when I look at someone, I'm like, that's just a person. Like I don't know them. You know what I mean? And then until like much later down the line, I was like, is there even a sexuality for being like, oh, well, I want to like be emotionally connected to someone before I just like hop into bed with them? And there is. I'm
Yep, there
glad.
is
That's
demisexual
me.
representation right here.
Yeah,
Demisexual Milktown superior milkman
that's
right
both
here.
of us. Yeah. As I was older, I was like, yeah, man, I vibe with that. So,
Yeah, no, the thing that made me question that is I got recommended an article through like a Google alert. It was like a news alert. And I think it was like Mark Ronson came out as sapiosexual. And I was like, what is
what is
sapiosexual? So
that?
it's people that are only attracted to intelligence or like
Oh,
primarily attracted to intelligence.
gotcha.
And I was like, that's on the spectrum of sexuality. So like I
Right.
started looking it up and I was like, I really started vibing with demisexuality. I was like,
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
this is what I am
Yeah.
because I had so many failed experiments of trying to do what my peers were doing. I was trying
Yeah,
to.
yeah, man. Like I said, in high school and early college, it was like, well, everybody else is just hitting up whoever to hook up. I should try. Couldn't. Like,
Mm,
I wasn't with it. Like, I don't want to go too into detail, but there was this time where it wasn't working. Like, we were there. It was an experience. It wasn't working. Mm-mm. And they were like, well, do you not like me? And I'm like, you're a cool person. You play Mario Kart really well. I don't want to experience your Rainbow Road. I'm sorry. I'm just like not.
oh
I
no!
didn't say it that way, but like, I just, and then I
You
realized, and
so you're
and
saying you
now
didn't want to get involved in her sweet sweet canyon?
I did not. No.
Which, by the way, the best Mario Kart map name of all time.
Sweet Sweet
Sweet
Canyon.
Sweet Canyon.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then now I'm with Cordially Cherry, who is another streamer on Twitch. You can check her out. She does puzzle stuff. She's more of a TikToker though. She's kind of getting some clout on TikTok a little bit. Like
Is
she's
she?
pretty. Her skits are pretty funny. Like I downloaded it just for fun. She got pretty serious. Like she does skits and lighting and knows the effects. I don't know how to fucking use TikTok, man. But anyway, we're engaged now, and sometimes she's like, "But do you ever think of what it'd be like to be with other women?" And I'm like, "Not fucking really, man. Like it takes a lot for me to be with someone. So like we out here. Don't worry about that. We got this." Like
No, I do. I know how that goes.
it's
Like,
like
and okay, so actually thinking about that because I've been this way for as long as I've been interested in women, not
Mhm.
able to identify what it was. Did you as like a young teenager, like when you started going on dates and stuff, did you find yourself losing interest in people really fast and then
Yeah.
transitioning into another one very quickly?
Yes, a lot. Very often. That's funny that you bring that up. Yeah, like I'd go, yeah, you'd go on a date or whatever, and like that's an attractive person, physically looking or whatever. But then I'd go on like a second or third date, and like I'd just be like, man, nah. Like I don't know. In my head, all I could be like was no, like nothing changed about the person. I think I just was like, maybe not. And then like I said, it took a lot of experimenting and going around. Um, I wasn't always perfect about things. There's a lot going on in my teenage years. That's a whole nother can of worms to get into. But like I said, I think when I started on the platform, I was like, because everybody gets taken down by some controversy that happened way back when or whatever.
Yeah.
If it's bad enough, I don't have anything super bad. I've broken hearts. I've said some fucked up shit. I probably wasn't the best person, but when you're a teenager, that's just life. So yeah, I've had a
Yeah.
lot of that. A lot of like, so I'm like now I'm like, well, I'm becoming kind of public, like a little bit. Like I've met a lot of streamers and I'm doing this thing. I'm afraid someone's gonna come out and be like, he was an asshole, and I can't be like, no, because I don't know what their experience with me was. Honestly, I can't even remember. Like, so if it comes
Yeah.
out, I always tell everybody, believe them. I mean, if I did this to them, I'm not gonna tell you how to feel about me. I am who I am now, and we're moving forward this way. So
Yeah, that's
that's
it's not even like when I started becoming public. Just in general, when I started fixing my mental health, I went back
yeah,
through and I think I apologized to like 35 or 40 people just like
yeah.
for stuff that I was thinking about like, oh yeah, this may have really affected somebody.
hmm
Um I mean, predominantly positive responses.
Yeah. You
uh,
can't please everyone.
yeah, but
I
it's
was
like I didn't even realize the things that I was doing when I was that young because I was also denied help.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
Feel that.
specifically saying to after my mom passed away, I went to live with some, for lack of a better term, foster parents. I was a ward of the state.
Okay, yeah.
So
I know that.
yeah, I went to live with these foster parents, and I remember saying they were pretty well off. For the
Mhm.
first time in my life, I was in an environment where we had money, and I remember saying, "Hey, something's not right up here. I need to talk to somebody." And the answer that I got was like, "You can talk to me, or you can go to church." And
Yeah. Oh, I could talk to you all day about church, bro. Oh my god. That was
so,
how I tried to fix myself, and it just got me more
same.
fucked up at the end of the day. That's that same thing. Like being a teenager, figuring shit out in church happened all at once. From 12 to 17 years old, I was in church, and it messed up my personality because I had a lot, like you said, like I need to go talk to like a professional. They'd be like, "No, we'll just pray for you. We'll pray about it. Something's going on with your family. We'll pray about it." Like, man, yeah, I just messed up my mental.
That
Like until I left church, and this isn't like an anti-religion podcast. You can believe in
yeah,
what you want to believe, but for me, that church experience was not conducive to like positive mental health because it was like you go to youth group, you're around all these kids who are just from better homes, you know what I mean, like better families, like church going people. I didn't have a family that was like that, so I'd come to church and like try to put on a face, and then go home, and reality sets in. If you're dating anybody at the time, the church doesn't want you to have sex. And I was really a believer, man. Like I really wanted it to help me, and so I did. I abstained from sex for a long, long time. Like, and I mean, not until I was like an adult, I didn't have sex. I don't think. And just all that put together, like that makes dating hard because everybody, as a teenager, you want to experiment with things, and like, so you're like walking a tightrope and trying to figure out who you are, and it all just kind of falls to pieces, especially when your mental health's not good or
oh
your
yeah,
upbringing's rough, and it's like, ugh,
like I don't want to bash anybody's coping mechanisms by any
of
means, or
course, yeah, no, I mean,
whatever they find safety in. But my experience with church was a lot like just swiping your debit card and never checking your bank account. Like just hoping for the best, right?
right, yeah, and
And
that's
that it didn't work for me. And that's now I am where I am because I found a um like a really solid support system,
yeah,
and then B,
super important.
also, I discovered what talk therapy was and having
Yeah,
to like actually work through my internal issues. Like I used to have really bad anger issues as a kid.
yeah. I
Like
had those for a little bit as a
some
kid,
of the
but
worst anger issues I've ever seen. Like I used to get mad at people just for looking at me.
oh my
Um,
god, yeah.
yeah, like I was on a college campus once, and this dude was looking at me, and I caught him staring at me, and I yelled like across the quad, like
Uh-huh.
"The fuck you looking at?" And
Oh
he
my
was like, "Oh
god.
my god."
That
Yeah,
is
and
so like
I
the
mean,
opposite of
rightfully
you
so.
now, because now
Exactly.
you're like super like you need to stop looking at me, Sonny. Jesus. God, fucking look somewhere else.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying though. Is like it's a complete going back to what you're saying is like it's difficult to judge people based on things that happen before they were completely formed. Like we
Yeah.
continue to grow mentally like well into our 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm not saying that like don't discredit victims if people are victims for sure.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
don't do that by any means. But also like pick your battles. Like if it's something minor, like he was an asshole to me. Like yeah, we were all
Right.
assholes at one point.
Yeah.
At one point, puberty had a hold of us. Like
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I always say there's a line, you know what I mean? There's content creators out here who like, oh, I cheated on my ex. That's between you and your ex, bro. I don't know.
yeah,
To me, that's not breaking, like the law. Yeah, that's an asshole move. Big diarrhea dick move. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a cheater. I'm not about it. But like, I don't know if somebody should technically be like deplatformed for that because that's hurting one person. Yes, but we've all hurt somebody. That's the way the cookie crumbles. You know what I mean?
yeah,
If it has anything to do with children, get the fuck off the platform. If you're killing people, if you're assaulting people, if you're violating people's, you know where the line is what I'm saying. There's like you
yeah,
said, there's being an asshole and then there's going beyond. And like to me that's what it is.
yeah. And that's I mean that's predominantly what we're all here for is to learn and grow. Like just on this
Right.
earth in general. Like we can't just sit there and coast by and be who we are whenever we were made. That would suck.
Oh dude, no thanks. I'm not going back there. Man, it took me so long. I mean, I'm only 22, so when I say it took me so long, people are like, "Well, you're so young." But like when you grow up with a certain upbringing, your days feel longer, your nights feel everything in that headspace feels longer when you're struggling with like when you have mental
Yes.
anguish going on, everything's longer. Like I think it took me 3 years to fully realize what the fuck I wanted to do with my life. And during those years, it felt like it's been like a decade. Like it was such hell. Like,
So I don't have any merit to this. I haven't looked up any studies. I also have not been diagnosed with anything, but I'm
yeah.
90% sure I have a version of an attention disorder.
Okay. Yeah.
Not sure that's hyperactivity, maybe just deficit. I don't know. The neural pathways in my brain work very quickly.
Hmm.
I would say more than the average person. Like I can obviously the way that this started is we started talking about Mormonism in Utah. It very quickly derailed.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm trying to come back to here is what you said is like the the time spent in that headspace feels much longer, and I wonder if that's because we think very similarly, where
Yeah.
something can trigger something, and it
Hmm.
happens in a millisecond.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like that comes from just laying awake at night. If you spend 3 hours laying awake at night and every millisecond is 17 thoughts,
Right.
like that, yeah, it does
It's the
feel that much
hyperbolic
longer.
time chamber of the
Exactly.
brain. Like, like 1 minute out here is like a year, and or a day out here is like a year in my brain. Sometimes it's
Yeah, it's
crazy, man. I don't
literally
know.
like sending your consciousness into orbit.
Yeah, I remember like because Cherry and I just had our like 2 years. We've only been together for a little over 2 years now.
Well,
February
congratulations.
12th, yeah. And I was like, happy 2 years, and those words came out of my mouth, and I'm like, 2 years? She's been here forever, like, And I mean, That's not like a complaint. It's just like in my brain, it just feels like she's been there forever. She watched me go from like in my parents' house, and I don't want to bash anybody or anything like that. Like, everybody's family has their own drama or whatever. But she watched me go from that to coming out here to not because I wasn't doing content creation even when I moved out here. Cherry had lost her mom, which was a big hit to me too because we were close. And after that, I was like, well, I want to do something different because she always told me like, don't waste your life away doing some. That's how I bought this microphone. And then she's like, yeah, you're just investing in yourself. And now I'm sitting here in front of two monitors, and I'm like, well, I guess I should probably fucking make something. So yeah, it just feels like a long time.
I get it. I had a very similar conversation with my older brother. I was talking
Yeah.
about I wanted to move to Texas to pursue voice acting in a more serious capacity.
Hmm.
And this was pre-pandemic.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was, 22, 23,
Hmm.
had finally settled down on it. Like, this is what I want to pursue given the opportunity. And my older brother, Randy, he literally sat me down. He's like, hey, man, like, I know that you've gotten really close with all of the siblings now. Like, we
Hmm.
didn't have that when you were growing up. He's like, don't feel like you owe us anything. He's like, you're
Right.
the youngest one. What you owe us is to be happy. We want to see you be happy. You do
There you
whatever is
go.
going to
Yeah.
facilitate that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, very obviously, I did not move to Dallas, Texas, which was
Yeah.
probably a good move on my part.
My older
Because now,
sister is on her way to Houston right now, actually,
oh,
pursuing a new job
sick.
offer. So congratulations
Sick.
to her, by the way.
Yeah, congrats to Nostalgia Sister time.
Yeah. So
But yeah, that's cool.
I helped her road trip from. She went to college in Tennessee, spent 10 years there. I helped her road trip back to Tennessee, from Tennessee to California, where I was living at the time, and then immediately moved out to Utah. And now she's like, I kind of miss you on this road trip because I took the last road trip with her cross country because she's going down to Texas now and doing that shit. And I'm like, everybody's
Sick.
all over. I remember my parents took it pretty hard when I first was like, yeah, I'm moving out to go be in love. And my mom was like, you can't do this, like not in like a mean way. She was gonna let me go. I was 21. So like, and now when I call her, and I should call her more often. Hey, note to future Nate when you're editing this, call your fucking mom once in a while. But and we've had ups and downs in our own relationship, my mom and I. But whenever I call her, to tell her updates, I don't realize how much I'm doing until you update somebody, you don't know how much you're really doing. So I'll call her after
Yeah.
like way too long and be like, "Hey, I got a car now," and she's like, "Oh shit, okay, you have a car." I'm like, "Yeah, it's like a 2019." She goes, "Oh shit, that's like a really new car," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I'm doing streaming now," and she's like, "Oh," I'm like, "I'm an affiliate," and she's like, "Oh, I don't know what that means, but okay," but like, it's just weird, and then, but it's good to find your own happiness. That's what's important.
Yeah,
That and
yeah. The point that I was gonna make is it was a good move that I didn't go to Texas. I would still like to at some point, but
yeah.
I made a very lateral move. I moved across the state that I was in.
Well, there you
Um,
go.
Found out I didn't like what I moved there for, but in the process of doing that, I met the woman that I love. I now live with her. I'm pursuing voice acting at my own pace, and the pandemic actually opened up avenues for remote recording, which
Right.
is what I mean. We're doing that now. You're in Utah, I'm
Yeah.
in Missouri,
Yeah.
so yeah. So it's actually been helpful that I didn't move to Texas because now I'm not as isolated. Like, I can still see my family and
Exactly.
also pursue what I want, which was a big thing for me. Like, I didn't want to go to.
Hmm.
I actually, so in high school, I got offered a full ride scholarship to Texas Christian University, which I declined because it was in Texas and I didn't want to be that far away.
Hmm.
So,
That's funny.
I mean, ultimately a bad move, but
Yeah. I got delayed acceptance to Point Loma Nazarene. That was a college in San Diego. When I was in church, I really wanted to go there. Really glad I didn't. Not just because of religion, but because I'm not a big fan of the 4-year university and in the state it's currently in. And that's a conversation for another time. But I went to community, then I like left community because they were like, so like if university's overachievers and like super expensive, community was like underachievers, and like every time I got partnered up with somebody, they would drop the ball and I'd have to do the whole project. And I don't like that. As a team, I want people to be productive. That's why I chose you, Sonny. Get to work. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so I found a happy medium, went to private college, got my graphic design degree. My mom was like, "You're going to college. That's my only requirement." I went to college and then just started doing what I wanted to do, which is this. So.
yeah, it's very sick. I mean, it's It's better than what I did, where I followed someone that I thought I loved to college for the wrong reasons.
Oh,
I
red
picked the
flag.
wrong major.
Donkey Kong. Red
Yeah,
flag.
I wound up in a major that I wasn't passionate about.
Ugh.
Finding out. So I went to college initially for
Mhm.
secondary English education. So I wanted to be a high school English teacher. Finding out in the middle of college that I didn't like kids in any capacity, considering the major that I was going into, was kind of like,
Oh,
oh shit, what do I do from here? And I remember joking like, oh, I'm going to transfer and go to law school. And I'm also
dude.
glad I didn't do that because I mean, look at me now, I'm covered in
I'm like,
tattoos.
you don't give me law school vibes at all.
The
You
funny thing though
kind of
is
give me English teacher vibes, maybe. Like a really cool English teacher, but not law school.
I'm like a really cool mom.
If
But no,
they
I
could see what you were wearing, it'd make a little more sense.
it's true. I'm wearing like an 80s style flip up cap and
Hell
like
yeah.
90s roller rink carpet shirt. Uh,
If you want to know what I'm wearing, go on twitch.tv/nostalgia_n8.
yeah,
It's the
if you want
same
to know what
flannel and
he
the same beanie.
exactly, if you want to know what Nate's wearing, subscribe to his OnlyFans.
Oh god. You're gonna make people like, oh god, I don't want to like find something of me later. Have you ever found an account that was like that had your name on it but didn't belong to you? I found a
So
Tinder. I found a Tinder of mine.
no,
And it had like, you could download people's social media pictures, no problem. Had my pictures, had like not like specific details, but I think like the favorite song under it was like Go the Distance from Hercules. And like I sing Disney constantly. So I'm like, I don't have access to that account. Not my Tinder. Don't know what's being done with it. A friend showed me. She was like, I didn't know you were on Tinder. I didn't
yeah,
know
I
you were
was about to
single. And I'm
ask, how did
like,
you come across a male account on
yeah,
Tinder?
yeah. And I'm like, I'm not on Tinder. And at the time, I wasn't single. So I was like, nah, like, what is this?
No, dude, I totally get it. I don't have something like that where I've never been attractive enough as an adult to use me as a template for anything. But
Oh, God, I have another story now.
I did have an Instagram account before the one that I have now. My own personal, not my social account that I use. But I had a personal Instagram account. It was even private. You had to request to follow me.
Hmm.
And I got hacked by somebody overseas that
Mm.
is they would use Cyrillic, like it was obviously Eastern European, if not
Mhm.
Russian, and it got hacked. I could not get access to my account back, which really sucked because it had a lot of early pictures of my dog that recently passed away, so I
Oh,
couldn't
dude.
recover those. It had a lot of pictures of me when I was a kid where that was the only existing copy. Uh
Yeah, thanks. That's real.
yeah,
That's real uplifting.
I
That
know,
sucks, dude.
but it
Holy
also had
shit.
like when Vine was popping, I would post my Vines to Instagram as well.
Nice.
So it had all of my old Vines, and now I can't remember my Vine username to look it up on the historical site. But
Mhm. Now I have
yeah,
two stories. Now that you brought up Vine.
go ahead. That's what I was gonna
um,
say. Is I got hacked by some Europeans
that's
back in the day.
yeah, that sucks, dude. So speaking of Vine, despite being part of the generation that was like known for really enjoying it, never had one and never got into it because while Vine was popular, I was in Rent the Musical playing Tom Collins. So I had no fucking time between like school, and so everybody was like, "Do it for the Vine," and I'm all like, 525,600 minutes. They're like, "You go fuck yourself, kid," and I'm like, "All right."
Well, it's a good thing we aren't getting paid for this yet. So
And then the second story was you're like, "Oh, I'm not good looking enough for like somebody to make a fake profile." Cherry didn't believe I was real when we met. She was like, I sent her the picture, it was like my headshot from Rent, I think actually, or some shit like that. And so I sent it to her and she goes, okay, well, when you get home, you should video call me. And I'm like, you don't fucking believe that? Like, why would I? She's like, I've been catfished before. I'm not going to fall for it again. This is too good to be true. And I'm like, that's really sweet, but also, what a dick. So I fucking go home and I turn on my camera and then she just sits there like with her mouth open, just, uh, I'm like, dude, you thought I was lying to you. I don't understand. Like, I'm not supermodel levels of good. I'm just some mixed guy, but I guess those are like hard to come by out here in Utah. So,
Dude, what's funny is like, so I go through these phases of like being really in shape and then being really out of shape.
yeah.
And most recently, last year, I got really into shape. Like I was, I don't have any specific metrics for you, but I
You
dropped
could check
down
his
like
OnlyFans for more details on that.
you cannot check my OnlyFans because I don't have one.
You made the
but-
joke at me. I didn't have one either.
I know, but I played it off. You just kind of brushed it under the rug, which makes me think you might have one.
Oh, that's a little sus. Yeah, I guess so.
But no, I don't have any specific metrics for you, but I did lose like, I don't know, 6 inches around my waist while staying the same weight.
Man, if I could borrow 6 inches from you, bro, that'd be great. I'm really struggling out here.
I don't have 6 inches to give, partner. But I re-downloaded Tinder. I hate Tinder as a platform. I think it's severely flawed. I did meet my current girlfriend on Tinder, which it seems so fluky, but it was kind of like what you were saying with you and Cherry, where except it went both ways. We were both obsessed with each other, like immediately. But I did have one this last stint of Tinder. I only had 6 matches total before I met my girlfriend. One of those matches messaged me, and the first thing she said to me was, "Wow, you're hot." And I was like, I don't feel that way. But also, this woman I had met on another dating site years prior, like 2 or 3 years prior, and I was severely out of shape, and she didn't remember that we had had like 3 weeks worth of conversation.
Oh, fuck you! That's awesome.
So I was
because you could finally be like,
yeah. I mean, it was a strange situation.
That's awful. I was gonna say I can do you one worse. Like everybody's like embarrassed when they're like, "Oh, I met my so and so on Tinder." Bro, I met my fiance on Whisper, dog. You know what the Whisper app is?
I don't know what Whisper is.
It's like you thought Reddit was the armpit. Like Reddit is like the armpit. Whisper's like the ass crack. All right, like there's nothing but like fucking creeps in there who just send their dicks all day and like because you're supposed to like tell your secrets on Whisper. Like, oh, I have a crush on. Cherry's post was something like, "Oh, I wish someone would sweep me off my feet." I go on Whisper to troll. I don't do it anymore. I'm too busy now. But at the time, I was like, "Oh, this is perfect, like troll material." And then so I was like, "Haha, like you need someone to sweep you off your feet, fucking loser." And then look what I did. I swept her off her feet. So you know,
reverse psychology.
Yeah. Anyway, believe it or not, despite sounding like total fucking chads. We're actually gamer nerds, so we should probably talk about like what games like we enjoyed growing up. Believe it or not, we actually sit around and play video games for some time during the day.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I did not grow up a Chad. I was actually super scared of any conflict in terms of video games. So the games that I played growing up were like Disney Extreme Skate Adventure.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Guitar Hero.
What you're not gonna do, in the words of Raven the Kid, what you're not gonna do
exactly
is disrespect Disney skateboarding.
Yeah, so Raven the Kid, another streamer buddy of ours. He's great stuff. I love that guy. But
cracks me up.
Yeah, so Guitar Hero, Disney Extreme Skate Adventure, Tony Hawk for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't start playing games with actual story and conflict until I was well into my teens. I think the first one I tried was I got into like Modern Warfare, and then from there I discovered Dante's Inferno, which I never beat, but I was super interested in the storyline. I remember it being super cool. I think the first game that I finished start to finish was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Mario's really into that.
Yeah, so Brotherhood was awesome, but Assassin's Creed 3 is my favorite of all time, video game of all time. Just great story, good mechanics. The only thing I didn't like was the naval stuff, which they made the next game entirely about with Black Flag.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
But yeah, so there was that stuff. Played a lot of Pokemon growing up. I think the first one I played though was Ruby, but I knew about the other games. I just hadn't played them because I
Gotcha.
was a huge like. So okay, here's another thing. So I grew up in the Midwest, right?
Hmm.
As a kid, especially, and you can relate to this because we're very similar in age. We're about 4 years apart. But as a kid
Yeah.
growing up, I was introduced to like Pokemon, Power Rangers,
Hmm.
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah.
like a lot of Japanese IPs. Obviously, Power Rangers having the American actors and they go in and film the stuff in between the fights, but all the fights are recycled footage from the Japanese show.
Hmm.
So being introduced to all those IPs at a young age, I was like, oh yeah, these are just things that I like. And then growing up, you're like, oh wait, no, that's anime for the most part. Like not Power Rangers, but like Pokemon and
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh,
well,
the
Power
legit
Rangers is
anime.
like a tangential subgenre. That's like technically like live action anime or
It's
whatever.
like it's shonen related though. It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
designed for young boys to ogle at for hours. Like,
yeah. And it
and
works,
that's
by the way.
oh yeah, still love Power Rangers.
Hell yeah.
I was looking at Cameo earlier because I thought it would be fun to see how much it would cost to have Jason David Frank do our Milktown intro, and I don't think it's worth $1,000.
Uh, yeah, we have some ideas for that. I mean, this first one's just gonna go up relatively raw because I know that's how you like it. I mean, raw
Oh
because we don't
yeah,
have raw just because we're still getting things together, and that's fine. But I think it's always good to have something to look back on. It's the reason why I'm like when I made my YouTube, I was like, well, I'm never gonna delete anything because I want to see where I was. And oh god, if you open that Tony Hawk video, I think it's well scripted enough, but the audio goes because I didn't know how
oh
to audio
no,
balance yet at first. So you got to kind of turn your volume up and down. Learned how to do it later. Spit all over my mic screen, by the way. I guess that's why they have them.
no! I have my mic hanging away from my face. That
Yeah,
way
I
I
gotta.
can't. It would take everything in my power to spit on my microphone.
Yeah, I guess I should talk about. If you were done, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I should talk about games that I played growing up.
Yeah, no,
But I
I
also
don't think
think
I have
it's
anything else.
okay.
Oh, I did have one other thing. I got
Oh,
really obsessed with Grand Theft Auto 4 when I was in high school, like eight
hell
years after it
yeah!
came
Oh
out.
my god! Yeah, '08 was when it came out.
Yeah,
God.
I was okay, so maybe not 8 years because I graduated in 2014. So it was
Okay,
at least 5 years, like
gotcha.
right before Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, because
Well,
Grand Theft
dude,
Auto 5
so
came out when I was a junior.
so you would have been a senior when I just was just coming into freshman year of high school.
Yep.
Damn, I could have used a role model. Probably,
You
I
would
would.
not have wanted
I
me as your
wouldn't.
role
I
model as a
wouldn't have
senior.
listened to you. I would have been an asshole. So you know,
I was sneaking
it
around
works
smoking
out.
cigarettes and I was chewing tobacco and I was in a metal band that made pop culture reference songs the
Was it
entire
called Loaded Diaper?
our, our metal band was called Dr. Aquafresh and the Toxic Cowboys.
That's a lot. That's a lot to take in.
It is a lot. We tried to vote on changing it several times and never came to fruition, but we wrote pop culture based songs. Like we had a song about Ghost Rider. I think we made a song about the Wolfman, the Benicio del Toro remake, and then
Gotcha.
Interview with a Vampire was another one. But yeah, you would not have wanted me as a role model. I was kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, sounds
but
like we
but
both learned a lot, or we're still learning
cousin,
together.
it is your cousin. Let us go bowling. What kind of games did you play as a
Nico,
kid?
let's go bowling. Okay. So obviously, as you can tell from my repertoire, um, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, all that stuff was when I was like 3, 4. Uh, my grandma, what happened with that? I guess the way my mom tells it is my grandma hit like a small lottery, and she bought each one of her daughters, being my mom and my 2 aunts, a PlayStation, just like a regular PlayStation 1. We kept ours at my grandma's house for some reason. I don't know why. But like that's where I learned to play like Crash and Spyro and stuff. And then from there, I think my cousin got a PS2 and I saw he had one and I'm like, oh fuck, I want one of those. But I didn't say oh fuck because I don't even cuss in front of my parents now. But um so when I was 7, I had just turned 7. It was my 7th birthday. And my dad, or the guy who I call my dad. So if I say my father, for future reference, my father is my sperm donor, technically. The man who created me, technically. Don't know much about him. Don't give a fuck.
Your
My dad,
progenitor.
yeah. My dad is the one who like raised me from like 6 years old onward. Him and my mom worked together to do that. And I really fucking appreciate it because like as a kid, you're like, oh, okay, cool, like new guy, you know. But like as an adult male now, I don't think I could just jump into somebody else's business and then like start raising kids. Like that's crazy that people can do that. I'm not saying it's bad one way or the other. Anyway, he got me a PS2 with like a shit ton of games. Like he gave me his whole PS1 collection he used to have. My mom didn't like me playing fighting games, so a lot of those got confiscated immediately. And then so I got my PS2, and the first thing I played was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which was like got me falling in love with Tony Hawk after that. Some point my dad stopped buying games because my brother wouldn't stop using them as frisbees. So
Oh no.
16-ish is when I got back into gaming. I played a little bit of PC, but not really. Through my like younger teenage years, like 16-ish, I got a PS3. Played a lot of Saints Row, and I still want to play that because the new Saints Row game is coming out soon, and I've played them all, but I want to play it for the channel at some point. And then fast forward to now, I much prefer playing those platform games. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're just trying to stick with your nostalgia gimmick." I'm like, no. If you ever see me like offline, not streaming, but also still on Discord, it's like playing Crash Bandicoot. Like I just really love those platform games, man. Like,
Have you played like
But I grew
Hollow
up with-
Knight or anything?
no, not yet. I don't know. 2D is weird for me. Like
Okay.
it gives me headaches. Like I respect what it is, like Sonic and all that, but I get a headache really quick playing 2D. I think the only 2D game I can really stand to play is Super Mario Bros. Wii, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That's coming from the red-green colorblind guy who can't tell if he's Luigi or Mario at any given time. But
You're red-green colorblind?
I am, and when we play Uno on Discord or not, whatever you call it, Steam, I have to turn the colorblindness on. I can't tell the red from the green.
I did not know that about you.
Yeah, so you can imagine Mario games are a ton of fun.
It's funny that you like really enjoy Nintendo stuff specifically with how much
Yeah.
of their stuff is red and green.
Yeah. I mean, you get used to it. There's just certain shades. Actually, I have a good example. Everybody asks for an example. I always say if you throw a red ball in a green field, I'm gonna have trouble finding it, honestly. But that's more of a shape thing. So eventually, I will. If you look at the Google Chrome logo, it goes red on top, green on the left, yellow on the right. If
Yeah.
I have that right. That red and green are so close for me, it almost looks like all red and then yellow.
Damn.
That's how ridiculous it is. So like light greens and bright reds, I get. Christmas is a fucking nightmare, let me tell you.
Dude, so you have Ganondorf behind you. Does Ganondorf just look like an abomination of like
He looks like a brown blob, honestly, at times, until I really focus in on the features. Like it just they mesh together, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that's what I
It's
was
fucking
asking. I was like,
ridiculous.
because
Yeah.
he's like bright
I mean,
red
the
on
red's-
green.
The red's bright enough and the green's dark enough, so it's okay. But there are points where the red and the green meet where it's just like, oh, I guess he's like browning on his skin right there. Like, what a fucking monster, by the way. Disgusting.
Huge widow's peak.
I'm finishing up that game soon. I'm on the Shadow Temple right now. Every Friday I play that. Shameless plug.
Hey, no, I
Alrighty.
mean, we are Twitch streamers, so I mean, like, I'll probably be there. I try to stop into all of your streams unless I wind up streaming simultaneously. But
Yeah, no, you hang out so much that you're a moderator now.
this
You're a
is
mod,
true.
Harry. Yeah,
And you're not even a mod on my channel.
No, because you don't need it. You're too boss. Someone's gonna mess with you, Sonny.
Actually, I have had some instances already where I needed mods.
Dude, what the hell?
Dude,
I know the bots come in sometimes, but Jesus.
My first stream on PC. So
Mhm.
I streamed mobile first. I did one mobile stream and then I brought in my laptop and started streaming there. But my first stream on my laptop, I had someone come in and they were just spamming the chat with really ridiculous things. Nothing inappropriate, but it was like every second was boom, 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 boom,
my
boom,
God.
boom. Like really weird questions. I don't remember the username. I do remember
What is your
the
mother's
questions.
maiden name? Social
No, it
Security?
wasn't anything
Date of
like
birth.
that. I think this was a person that like didn't speak English as the first language,
Okay.
but the fact that it was so repetitive and stuff, like I had to had to take action because it was kind of taking away the enjoyment, A, from myself, but B, from my audience, which,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm here
Totally.
because I want to have fun, but I also want to
Mhm.
make sure everyone else is chill. Like, I wanted to
Yeah.
feel like all of my friends came over after school and I'm the only
Mhm.
one with a PC and I know how to play all the games
That's
and you guys are
right.
hanging out.
That's the vibes I try to go for with all the retro stuff. It's like everybody's just hanging out after school, man. A
Yeah.
lot of stoners come into my chat. Don't blame you. Used to be a big one myself back in California. And those games just become so much more vibrant. But I mean, now I'm pretty straight edge. I'm in Utah. I don't have a choice, you know?
Straight edge.
Yeah. But my favorite trick, speaking of people who don't speak English, I'll have some people in chat and they'll come in and they'll be like, sorry, I'm from like Latin America or Spain. And then I'll pull this on them. I'll look at the camera and be like, ¿prefieres hablar conmigo en español? And they'll be like, sí, and I'll be like, yes, and then I'll get a follow, and I'll be like, yeah, because I took so much fucking Spanish class growing up.
Yeah, I took no much Spanish class. I took a full year and we basically got through half of a semester. I mean, in all fairness, it was my fault. Me and two of my other friends, we were just so funny. We were the funniest. So we would
Yeah.
constantly derail the classroom, and we did not get through any Spanish whatsoever. I learned more Spanish working in a sandwich shop with a man from Mexico City than I did in Spanish class.
I believe you because I learned. Okay, so like what I had was like very formal Spanish, you know, like formal education. I learned like all the slang from the dudes in the kitchen at the Italian restaurant I was working at. So I believe you.
Oh yeah, dude. Me and Antonio. I went and saw Antonio recently. It was last
Hell yeah.
month. I drove 2 hours. I had business back in my hometown. I drove 2 hours and I stopped in because I was hoping some of my other buddies were working, but they weren't. And he was. But he was excited to see me. He was like, "When are you coming back to work?" I was like, "I'm not.
I'm not."
I was like, "Dude, I live 2 hours away."
I remember the day I quit. It was because of the pandemic. Like there was a point where you could file for unemployment and make more money than you've ever made in your life working a part-time job.
Yeah.
And they were literally, I didn't do it for that so much as my mom already has COPD. If I bring home COVID, she's dead. She got a cold and like flatlined for a minute and like came back. Like her lungs are terrible. So I had to quit regardless. But they were even at the restaurant, they were like, well, we recommend you like you go. Now the restaurant is no longer in business at all. I took Cherry there on a date one time when we went out to go visit my family, and then she's like, "This is the best Italian food I've ever had." I'm like, "Me too." And then they closed, and they had the best hot wings too. God damn, making me hungry.
Oh, dude, when you come out to visit, because we've been talking about this, when you come out to visit, we have stuff that I'm excited about that I don't want to talk about because I want it to be a surprise when it happens.
Okay.
But my brother makes the best hot wings I've ever had in my life, and I have tried many, many hot wings.
Well, I'm down to clown. Let's do it.
Yeah, he makes them in his Traeger smoker, and they come out with the texture of being fried.
Yo, I'm in. Sign me up. That's it.
Yeah,
and the podcast.
No, yeah, fly out here now. I'll message him.
Done.
He's
That's
at the barbecue joint right now, but I'll message him and say, make some hot wings. But yeah, so you're super into retro platformers. I am afraid of anything conflict.
Yeah. So we're on the same page. I don't know. I think games they're going towards the movie direction, if that makes sense.
Which I love.
Like, and like a lot of people do love it. I think it's okay. Everybody has a play style they prefer. You know what I mean? Like I like a little cinematic. I like to know a reason why I'm going where I'm going, like a general direction. But I don't need to know like Nathan Drake like snagged his left nut when he was shaving, and now he has to go shoot these bit. Like I don't need all that. Like, God, just give me like fucking a love interest to save, or like some bitch to smack up. That's all I want. Like, I'm pretty basic.
I really enjoy the way that games are trending now because I've been a fan of the single player story mode for a long time. I actually there was a period back in like the mid 2010s, like 2013 to 2016, where a lot of games were like online only. So you're a Dragon Ball fan. Do you remember like Xenoverse?
Yeah, I remember.
Xenoverse,
you had to have an online
connection to play the game.
Yeah, I remember. Yep.
And it was super frustrating for me because I had just gotten a PS4 and I didn't have internet connection.
Yeah, it
So it
happens.
was like I had two games. I had Assassin's Creed Unity and I had, which famously the worst Assassin's Creed game ever made.
I heard.
And then I had Xenoverse. So I had two really frustratingly bad games. And then I took my PS4 over to someone's house, and the PS4 that I bought
Mhm.
was the Battlefront 1 bundle, Star Wars Battlefront 1. So I
Mm.
downloaded Battlefront, went back to my house expecting to play it. Also online only, no story mode. It was only
Uh,
competitive shooting. But that being said, that's still one of my favorite shooters of all time. Battlefront 1 is.
Fair enough.
And
I
actually,
liked the OG Battlefront 2 on PS2,
if
obviously.
if anybody is listening that has a friend who has the gamer tag wear good shirts or Wallace and Chains, send them my way because I want to be their friend. They're so good at Battlefront.
Is this how we're gonna suss people out? If anyone has a username,
I want to talk to them. Dude, they were playing that game. Both of those dudes back whenever I was starting to play, which was like a year and a half after the game came out, all the way up until a year after 2 came out. They were still in there playing. There was like 12 people actively playing, and they were both still in there.
Nice. Yeah. I don't have a lot of online experience because of that. I didn't have internet. I didn't grow up with the internet. Like everybody's like, oh, your generation had it good. Like they had it good. I was fucking poor. I didn't have internet until I was like 12 or 13 years old. Like I didn't even know how to use any of the control, copy, paste, none of that shit until like college when they taught me all the shortcuts.
Oh yeah.
They made me feel like a boomer. Like I was sitting with like this guy, he was like a Navy vet, and he was like in his 40s, and he's like, "You don't know how to do it either." I'm like, "No, sorry." He's like, "Man, you're like, I've never met anyone your age who doesn't know how to do." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir."
Wow.
Like,
Double got that thought. That Navy vet
yeah.
got your ass, dude.
Oh, dude. Yeah. So speaking of games with online or not, have you seen any new games that you're interested in looking at?
There's only one that's on the top of my head right now, and that is Street Fighter 6.
Ah, I didn't realize that was
Um,
coming out, but I'm not a Street Fighter guy. I'm a Soul
it's I
Calibur
don't
guy.
think
So
it's coming out anytime recently. They just did the teaser trailer recently,
okay.
and they said more news coming summer 2022. So I'm thinking it'll
Uh,
probably be early next year, maybe next summer. But
uh,
yeah, I am excited for Street Fighter 6. I think Capcom learned their lesson from Street Fighter 5, and I think we're gonna get a good
yeah.
game.
I heard five
Um,
was kind of for a lot of people.
yeah, there are better people to explain it than me. Like, there's a video I came across on YouTube the other day that basically detailed exactly what made Street Fighter 5 fail.
Ah,
Um, I cannot think of the person's name, and I'm sorry that I cannot credit you. But if you get interested, you can just type in Street Fighter 5 failure and probably find it. I bet it's the top result.
hmm.
But yeah, Street Fighter 5 is the big one that I'm thinking about now. Not as excited about GTA 6 as I was, but that's also because I think,
Has that even all they did was confirm they were working on it, right?
yeah,
Like,
I don't
oh, they
even,
pissed me off when they did that PS5. When the PS5 before it launched, they were like they opened it with like Rockstar Games, and I was like, oh, here we go. And then they were like GTA Online again, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
yeah, I don't even know what's coming out. I
Damn near
know that they're
died.
working on Skate 4, and I
Yeah, I
was really
saw that.
excited, but it seems like they're one of the most frustrating things with sports games right now is the ultimate team platform, and it seems like they're making Skate 4 predominantly like ultimate team where it's, pay for cosmetics and not a lot of game.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Yeah, when it comes to skating, when it comes to sports games, it's been definitely a downhill trend. When Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered, that when that came out, I was like, this is gonna be cool. And it was because Activision has the IP. So like they were being cool. They were throwing like Crash Bandicoot shit in there because they also own Crash Bandicoot. And so for me, I was like on cloud nine, and then it was kind of just like nothing after that. Like I was hoping maybe like DLC for Pro Skater 3, or at least announce like a 3 and 4 remake but now we're just like sitting here. It's so frustrating being a nostalgia guy, and it's because, well, people say it's hard to make content for. It's really not. There are people out there. I'm not going to say names. Yes, I am. Okay, so A YouTuber I really enjoyed when the games were coming out was Canadian Guy A. Like when Crash and Spyro were coming out, like he had all the information. And now the well is kind of dry because Activision's going through some shit. So all those IPs are on hold right now. I don't know how much you know about that, but Xbox just purchased Activision.
Yes.
So like now all he has, and he makes content about Crash and Spyro, and I think he does okay. Lately he's been rubbing me the wrong way, but I don't want to go into it. I don't want beef or whatever. But like he just talks about every leak. He'll be like, "Oh, this file just came out, and it says ahref." I'm like, "Bitch, that's just coding language. Like, stop. You're like grasping at straws. Just wait until something comes out. Like that's all." And it's not hard to make content for. There's so many games out there. Like, I don't know, but it is frustrating to like be sitting here waiting. But as far as games I'm looking forward to, there's like Cow the Kangaroo, which is that platforming kangaroo game. I didn't grow up with it. It was for the Dreamcast. Didn't have a Dreamcast. Saints Row's coming out. They're rebooting the series, so it'll be interesting. I guess it's more Southwest than it is like LA now. I guess is what's happening. Besides that, I don't know. Oh, Spider-Man 2's coming out, but I don't have a PS5, and nobody can get their hands on one. So
yeah, that's true.
it's such a bummer.
Yeah, so there's a couple games that I'm looking it up right now to see what are some of the big ones that are coming out.
Yeah.
Midnight Suns, Marvel's Midnight Suns is one that I'm really excited about.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Midnight Club for a minute. I was like, they're doing what now?
No, they won't make another Midnight Club. But Midnight Club was dope.
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind Midnight Club?
Not all the way, no.
Okay,
I just played like a game or two.
I'm gonna write it down. We'll save that for another podcast because the actual Midnight Club in real life is super interesting.
Holy shit! I didn't know it was a real life thing. Okay.
Oh
well, yeah. I guess we're gonna have to figure that out soon.
Yeah, we'll save that for another episode. But some of the games that are coming out that I'm excited about, Marvel's Midnight Suns, which I love Blade, so any Blade representation in Marvel is gonna get an upvote from me. I'm really excited about Mahershala Ali being cast as Blade. He even got Wesley Snipes' stamp of approval.
There you go.
Really excited about that. Number 2, obviously, I'm a Pokemon head. I'm really excited about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Alrighty then. Yeah, there you go.
I saw a rumor today that there may be a new evolution in this game.
Oh, finally. It's been a minute.
I'm really hoping that it's a ghost type.
Yeah.
Really would love for it to be a ghost type. I think that would be sick.
I don't think I'd mind a bug type. Curious to what they would do.
I want to see them branch away from what they've done because obviously they started with like 3 pretty basic ones with electric, fire, and water. Yeah. And then they branched out to dark, fairy, grass,
psychic.
Yeah, Espeon is psychic. So yeah, they've got like 7 evolutions. I think Ghost would be really sick, but I also think that a dragon
get a ghost right now. Where's my gun? Get the gat. No.
A dragon type, a ground type, or a fighting type would be really sick.
Oh, a fighting type even would be dope as hell.
I saw someone say they should make a fighting type evolution and call it Champ Eon.
Yeah! What? Come on.
Yeah,
somebody give that man a raise.
They're making a new Metroid Prime 4.
Again. Oh, not again. Because we just got Metroid Dread, right? Was that what it was?
Yes.
I got gifted that for Christmas by my soon-to-be brother-in-law.
Elder Scrolls 6 would be cool. I loved 5. Skyrim was awesome.
That's in my poll.
They're remaking Prince of Persia.
What? Wait a minute! When is that? Yep. When was that released? When was that?
I don't have any date here. This says to be determined, but it's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Another game.
Sands of Time I gotta play.
It's a Sands of Time remake.
Oh, what, dude? I gotta play the original. I got it right here.
That game heavily influenced Assassin's Creed. It was Ubisoft's title. So
yeah.
But another game that I'm excited about that I won't play myself because I hate puzzle games. I just don't find joy in them. But I will watch it played. Is the God of War sequel?
Oh, is it a puzzle game?
Oh, dude, all the God of War games are puzzle games.
Are they? I thought the original series, because I played that, it didn't feel too puzzly to me.
They're puzzly. I mean, there's some fighting. Like, don't get me wrong, there is fighting.
I mean, I
but
guess you're right. You're not. Yeah,
there's
that's not an incorrect assumption.
there's a lot of
Um,
puzzling and there's some really sneaky platforming in God of War.
huh.
And
Well,
that's I just don't find joy in puzzle games in general. I don't find joy in. I love knowledge based games, but puzzle games are a different story.
yeah, dude, you keep kicking my ass at Trivia Murder Party. I can't even. I can't
I
even keep
do love
up.
me some Trivia Murder
I
Party.
almost had you yesterday, but no.
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna let it happen. I was in dead last when we went into the final round. Did you notice
hmm
that?
Yeah, and you were just moving. I was like, God, if we don't hurry the fuck up, Sonny's gonna destroy us.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I
Anyway,
like I said, I love games without conflict. I love a lot of sports games, but I've
yeah.
referenced how much I hate the Ultimate Team platform. There's stuff that I would like to do game wise that just it's literally an investment. Like we sat in a voice chat one night and we were watching it was racing Group B footage,
Huh.
and this was me and you. Like, do you
Was it?
recall like all the people
No,
that?
no, no, I know what you're talking about. No, no. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, group chat with me or without me? Because I was like, without me. Huh, okay. No, I know what you're talking. That's the one where you have the wheel, like the actual physical. Was it that
I
one?
Yes, but I hope that what you just said actually recorded because it cut out for me and Craig is recording the call. So maybe
Oh, well,
repeat that and we can
Craig.
edit it.
Hey, Craig. So I yelled "oh really loud, and then you probably didn't catch that, Craig, but that's okay. We were in a group chat and we were looking at that racing game that had like the wheel controller, and we were watching that one chick play. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, but you cut out again on that for me. I don't know if I cut out for you.
Oh, damn it, Craig! You're gonna make me edit more than I want to, but that's okay.
It's okay. Worst case scenario, we can cut this out, but
Right? Yeah, it's not a big deal.
I'll circle back.
Yeah.
One of the
All right.
things that I want to get into gaming wise is a legit investment where I want to do actual like rally racing games, but I want to have the driving setup, and that's not cheap to have a good one. So
Yeah, that's a rough one. Yeah. Besides that, I can't think of any other titles. I'm super until I get a PS5. I can't play like the new Ratchet and Clank like I want to. So, whatever. But
I mean,
hopefully,
Switch Sports would be fun as long as they live up to what they're saying.
as long as they bring Matt back, that's all that matters.
I don't think they're gonna bring Matt back,
What
buddy.
the hell, man, dude? He's here to take names. Are you kidding me?
I don't think
Matt's
they're gonna
gonna
bring
steal your
Matt back,
girl. Be careful.
but they are gonna bring back golf after they release it. It's gonna be a free update. They're
Okay.
adding like a bunch of sports that were in Resort, and
I loved Resort. It was like my favorite.
so yeah, I'm excited about that. What about Leg of Zeg, Breg of Wag sequel?
I don't know how to feel yet because they're really blue balling everybody with that one. I was playing that on Wednesdays for a little bit, but so many people have that niche like tackled, and like I think I was getting good. Like a lot of people wanted to see me play more. If I'm not interested, I'm not going to pretend to be interested so that the algorithm will help me. It's my channel. I want to do what I want to do on it, and that
I hear
sounds
you.
kind of like dickish, maybe, but like I'm not going to sit here and cater like, oh, like Elden Ring just came out. Everybody, their mother's fucking. Elden Ring was never my type of game. It might be if I go check it out later, but it's not going to be something I stream because it's not what I normally play. I don't want to be weird. Like that's goofy to me. Like,
Yeah, I've never been a Souls fan. Like I
uh,
didn't. I tried Dark
mm-mm.
Souls. I tried Bloodborne. I just not. It's not what I'm into. I don't like games that are just difficult for the sake of being difficult.
Yeah. Well, I say that as a Crash Bandicoot player. I think what I like about Crash Bandicoot is there's no easy or hard mode. A lot of people are like, well, just put it on easy mode. Crash doesn't have that, but you set your own goals in Crash Bandicoot, bro. To beat the game, 25 levels through, easy peasy. No, like anybody casually, if you play the game enough, you'll get through it. If you want to collect everything, now you've made it hard for yourself, and you're the asshole. You've got egg on your face and that's me with egg on my face. But like, so that's what I like. It's like it's optional in the way that you can choose to do everything or just not.
Yes, and while we were talking, I just keep looking up upcoming games.
Ah,
Here's one that I didn't know about. That if they do it, I will be so stoked for. The Wolf Among Us 2.
I never played the first one.
It's so good. It's so good. I thought it was going to be dumb, right? Because like the whole premise of it is like, I mean, it was a Telltale game,
Okay.
So it's like really story driven, consequence based decision making, and the whole premise is it's like like a gritty noir fairy tale world.
Nice.
And like at first I was like, man, that sounds kind of dumb. Like I don't really want to play it. But I played the first one on PS3 back whenever I was in college, and it is legit one of the best games I've ever played. It's so good.
Oh, I have something controversial on the same token as like story-based games.
What do you got for me? What's your
And I'm
hot
gonna
take?
say this knowing damn well people are gonna be like, wow, that's kind of fucking cringy. Life is Strange, when that became free on PlayStation, that first game was really fucking solid story-wise. Like, by the end of the game, I actually cried, which was weird because like it was a lot of cringy dialogue. Like it sounded like adults trying to say, like the way they scripted it was like adults trying to say things they think kids might say. But the
Mhm.
story was actually really powerful and really good. I can't speak to like the prequel because I've played the prequel. It was all right. I can't speak to Life is Strange 2, but that first, it was kind of similar to like Telltale, like the type of storytelling and like choice based stuff. Pretty good. Everybody was like, it was okay. You're kind of cringy. Well, I'm gonna be cringy then because that shit was kind of fucking good. Sorry, I'm not gonna avoid the cringe just for cringe sake.
All right, and you like nostalgic stuff, so you may be excited about this. Apparently, a RoboCop game is in the makes.
I didn't hear about that either.
Yeah.
Haven't heard from RoboCop since Mortal Kombat. I think he was DLC. Yeah. 11?
Which one? 11?
11, yeah. I
Oh,
liked
dude,
11.
I hated 11.
What?
I liked Mortal Kombat 4 story mode specifically because I don't really. Okay, even though I said I'm really excited about Street Fighter 6, I'm not super big into fighting games.
Right.
I don't
It's
like
the
the
story,
mechanics.
right?
Yeah, I love the story. Like Street
So do
Fighter
I. Did
story,
you not
Mortal
like
Kombat
11's
story.
story?
No, I didn't.
Why?
And here's why.
Wait,
So,
what?
if
I
did you
thought
play Mortal Kombat 10?
all of it and the DLC and 10 and 11. 10, yep.
So, 10 had
Uh,
such a great story with actual consequences.
yes. Oh,
You,
I see why you don't like it already. I know where
yeah.
this is going.
So
Okay.
you're going into 11 and you've just got a god of time that's never been referenced once
Yeah.
that now you're bringing back all these characters that were perma dead.
Yeah.
That's like it's super cop out to me. And I don't
Yeah,
like
it did
that.
feel that. I felt
If
like
you're
they
going to commit
wrote
to changing
themselves
your
into a
franchise,
corner. Yeah, and then but they've rebooted several times already.
I know, but if you're going to commit to changing your franchise, do it.
Yeah, that's true. Also, yeah, that you know what? That I agree with because not only did they bring back old characters with some time bullshit. I don't like time bullshit in my games. I'll get to Jack too, all right? Tell Knucklehead I will get there. Trust me. We'll talk about that, but here's why. Okay. It was bullshitty because 10 has such a solid roster to me. All
Yes.
of those young characters are really fucking good. And instead we got Kung Lao again. Why? I don't know why we needed Kung Lao again, but I like Kung Lao. But basically they brought back people and zombified them, right? Was the point?
Yeah, they were revenants.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And it's like
Yeah, and
which
like
is weird because was it Shang-Chi? Quan Chi. Quan Chi. Shang-Chi is that Marvel
Shang-Chi's
movie.
Marvel.
Yeah, my bad. Quan Chi, he died. Like he got fucked. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and so
So
did
for
Shao
all
Kahn.
for all intents and purposes, this Revenant shit should be done. Like they could have gave us
Yes.
something else. I agree. You know what? I didn't really think about it too hard because I thought it was I don't know, I thought it was a thrill. I didn't like that they and I mean spoilers, but the game's old, so like get the fuck on somewhere. They killed Sonya right out, and I'm like, we're already short on our roster, and you're gonna go and kill Sonya like that? Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing? What
I
are you
didn't.
doing? Like,
I wasn't a fan.
that's
I
fair.
actually gave up on Mortal Kombat 11 after about
That's
an hour and a
fair.
half of gameplay.
Oh, I played it all in the DLC. The
I was
DLC
really
lets you
excited.
choose whether you want fucking who you want to basically reset time,
Mm,
and it's like it was fine, you know.
yeah, I'm just not a fan. I think if you're gonna make changes, just make the changes and commit to it.
My
There's
problem
other
now
ways to
is
get around it.
so my problem is come next game, it's gonna be a reboot. I
It
mean,
has
they
to
fucked with
be.
time, yeah, and I don't want to watch Okay, so Johnny Cage is my favorite character. I'm a little invested in him, a lot invested in him. I don't want to watch him fall in love with Sonya again.
Yeah.
Again, again. Like, I get to play the cocky asshole, and I like that about him. He's funny and he's great. But again, like, I don't want to watch everybody do the same shit again for another game.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you who your favorite MK character is.
Johnny Cage
so
is
it's
my
funny
dude,
that you
for
say
sure.
Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage, my least favorite character.
Oh,
For how similar we are, I can't stand Johnny Cage.
That's fair.
Not
lot of people
Johnny
can.
Cage and I, but you and I are similar.
Yeah, I get that.
My favorite characters, I have 3, and one is Bo Rai Cho.
Oh, see, I don't really care for Bo Rai Cho.
Yeah, Bo Rai Cho, the drunken master style.
Yeah,
it's super interesting to me. I love his fighting mechanics. Number 2, and you're gonna notice the theme here with Mortal Kombat X, but I really loved X. Kotal Khan. I loved Kotal Khan.
Sure. Oh my god, he had some spotlight moments in 11, but I see why you don't like 11 because they fucking broke his back and like didn't fix him. They just crippled Kotal Khan and left him there. Yeah, no, they just cripple him and leave him there.
Yeah, no, but my thing is like he was a I read the MKX comics leading up to the game release.
Okay, so you're even more invested then.
Yes,
X was really good, so I get you.
So I loved MKX, but I loved Kotal Khan because he was a foil to Shao Kahn. Yeah. And Shao Kahn was like the Devastator, right? He was the overlord of I can't remember the Nether Realm or whatever they call it. Yeah, Nether Realm. Outworld, yes.
It was Outworld. Because Nether Realm is where publisher. Well, they're the publisher, but Nether Realm was a place.
Yes.
It's just where fucking Quan Chi and what's his face hang out. The other sorcerer guy who's a dick.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But that being said, I love Kotal Khan because he's like a foil to Shao Kahn. Kotal Khan was like trying to fix everything. And he was left in a position where he was cleaning up the shit that Shao Kahn did. Yeah. And you have people that are still loyal to Shao Kahn, like Baraka and his species of people from Outworld.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Melina and Jade, who just like I just loved Kotal Khan. I loved the fact that he had his own people that were like kind of like they were bad, but he was using bad people to do what he considered the right thing. I think
it
made him super interesting. And then one of those bad people, Aaron Black, is my third favorite character.
Aaron Black. I don't like what they did with him in 11. And even the creators were like, we kind of went a little too Texan with him. Because in X, he was just like kind of vigilante. He didn't have that like country twang, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just like, I'm fucking like here to, I'm a fucking mercenary. And then in like 11, he's like, I'm a cowboy. I'm like, what the fuck? You did my boy.
See, and and I say these things. These are my 3 favorite characters. But I don't play as them when I play the game. If I'm playing against other people, I main Jason Voorhees and X, and then my secondary is Sonya Blade.
Sonya's a good pick. My favorites are all underdogs, like Johnny Cage, and I do play the people who are my favorites. Like Johnny Cage, I liked him because I watched him in 9, and everybody shat on him. And then I watched him in 10. And nobody was shitting on him anymore. He one-shotted Scorpion and Sub-Zero on that fucking plane, and I was kind of into it. In real life, no, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are way more powerful. But it was funny to see the lengths that, like, the creators went to be like, let's make Johnny Cage, like, one-shot these two.
Yeah, they gave him, like, a weird mystic energy.
Which is fine. I mean, it was whatever. And then Kung Lao is another favorite.
Just because, I do love Kung Lao, dude.
Because, I mean, it's not just the hat. The hat's fucking sweet, obviously. But, like, the fact that, like, he's always second to Liu Kang is, like, it makes me like him more automatically. Because it's just how it is. And then, who's Kung Lao's descendant?
It's his nephew.
His nephew.
Kung Jin.
He was my favorite character in X. Because he had that moment with Raiden, I think it was. And he was like, yo, what if they don't accept me or whatever? And Raiden's like, nah, we don't give a fuck about it. Because he's gay! And I fucking loved it. I love every moment. He's all like, we only care about what's in your heart, not who your heart desires. I was like, yo, what? Progressive Mortal Kombat? Hello, I'm in. Sign me up.
See, and so speaking of the young characters in 10, like Takeda is one of my favorite characters.
He was blind, right?
No, Takeda's not blind. His dad, Kenshi.
Okay,
Kenshi is the blind one.
Oh yeah, no, it's kidding. But he's the one who's in love with Briggs, Jackie
Jackie.
Briggs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love, and Takeda was his mentor was Hanzo Hasashi, Scorpion.
Yeah. So
And so speaking of Scorpion, I'm ready to get off the topic of Mortal Kombat, but that new Mortal Kombat movie, as much as I hated it, had a perfect casting choice for Scorpion. I love that man.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, don't like that Cole guy. Not like my favorite edition. We could talk about that later though.
Yeah.
We gotta get moving to like what we're doing this week, and then we gotta put this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually don't have any plans this week. I have a schedule printed out. I need to actively see how streaming and everything is going to intersect with my day-to-day life because I haven't
Gotcha.
actually sat down and written one out yet.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I got to sit down and figure that out. But it's looking like maybe like Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, something like that. We'll just have to see. As far as when I stream next, I will let everyone know in my Discord, which I believe also has a permalink, or I might just put it out on Twitter. My username SonnySaysStuff is everywhere except for Facebook. So if people
I
are
haven't
interested
followed
to
you on
know,
Twitter yet, so I gotta get on that.
I mainly use it for voice acting, casting calls. So
Well, that's still fucking cool.
but yeah, I'll put it out somewhere if people are interested. I do a lot of posting on my Snapchat to get people to come in, but I
Gotcha.
don't give that out, which sucks.
Well,
So
I don't even have a Snapchat anymore. So
I'll
and
probably
you
put it on
added
my
me, but
Instagram.
I'll never touch that account again.
Yeah, I put it on like my Instagram or something. But yeah, I need to actively sit down and figure out a real stream schedule, especially now that I hit affiliate, and I think I've streamed
He's the
maybe
big
twice.
time, y'all.
I think I've streamed twice since I hit affiliate. It's just this last month has been really weirdly busy.
That's
So
a phenomenon. Like that's not just like a lot of people will go and then hit affiliate and then disappear. On Reddit, somebody was complaining about that because there are some people who will go seek out specifically new streamers and watch their journey, and for some reason, after they hit affiliate, they'll just fall off. Like it happens. I'm not saying you're falling off, just in general, it's a weird thing. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but
yeah, no, it's not that I don't want to do it. I really enjoy doing it. I've just been there. There's been a lot of stuff in my personal life in the last month that has really pulled me away.
he's too busy getting swole, y'all. Better watch out for Sonny.
I do need to get back into the gym, which is one of the things I have to allocate time for and figure out how I'm going to
Yeah, I
do
got to do
that.
that too. It's been a
Then
while since I did the
also
gym.
like people I love have been in the hospital and I've been trying to deal with
Ooh,
that.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, and nothing bad has come of it. Like nobody I love has passed. It's just
good, good,
a
good.
lot of my time has been, especially I also work a job where the one other person that I shared a workload with quit. So now I'm doing doubling. I'm doubling the
Whack.
work at
I
work.
see.
So been staying late a
It's
lot of nights and just yeah, I got to sit down and actually figure some stuff out.
That's like 90% my fault, by the way. He's staying up late. As for me, so I took that week off of Twitch to get the new machine set up, get that stream, that community night stream last night rolling. So I did all that. So we're back on schedule. It'll be live. I'll link the Twitch and the YouTube when I do this. I'll link our Discords in there. The only bigger thing, if you're a YouTube follower of me, all 29 of you, I see you, is I have a script for a Jack and Daxter, replaying Jack and Daxter, because I know everybody liked the replaying Tony Hawk. That's like the most viewed video. It's not like a huge video or anything. It's just the most viewed. So I'm going to stick with that replaying theme for a while. So that should be coming out soon. I'm trying to get videos out bi-weekly, and then we're going to do this. So that's what that's going to be this week, I guess.
Hell
But yeah,
yeah.
and then I'll have all Sunny's stuff. I'll have your stuff plugged too. Your Twitch, your
Okay,
OnlyFans, of
cool.
course, like we talked about. So
Which I don't have. Um,
That's fair. All right, but yeah, I am Nostalgia Nate. I'm one half of the Milkman, the
the
Milktown
superior
Podcast.
milkman. Yeah, and with that being said, I'm Sonny Says Stuff, and we're gonna be doing these podcasts weekly. From here on in, it's just gonna be. I'm thinking we're just gonna be here to make you laugh and keep things interesting. Um, I'm thinking a lot of game talk, but also I'm gonna spit out random facts at you about random stuff, which is going to spark conversation.